All right. Good afternoon. Almost evening, yeah. So welcome to another Call Family Worship. So this in our Call Family Worship, we're doing a reading of this book, Westminster Larger Catechism. It's a commentary by Johannes Voss. For today, we are still in chapter 13, continuing to read the questions in chapter 13. We are now in question 145. Question 145 is split into 5 parts. We have already read the first part last week. So this Lord's Day, we will be reading the continuation of question 145. Lord willing, we'll be reading the conclusion of question 145 next Lord's Day. So I'll be asking my son, Kevin, to read for us the first part of question 145, the second part, and the third part will be read by Kyler.
Question. What are the sins forbidden in the sixth and ninth commandment? Answer: the sins forbidden in the ninth commandment are forgery, concealing the truth, undue silence in a just cause, and holding our peace when iniquity calleth for either or reproof from ourselves or complete wrongdoing. Speaking the truth unseasonably or maliciously to a wrong end, or perverting it to a wrong meaning, or in doubtful and equivocal expression to the prejudice of truth or justice.
Question 145 is continued. What are the sins forbidden in the ninth commandment? Answer: the sins forbidden in the ninth commandment are speaking untruth, lying, slandering, backbiting, detracting, tale-bearing, whispering, scoffing, being rash, caution, censuring, misconstruction, intentions, words, and actions, flattering and vainglorious boasting, thinking or speaking too highly or too meanly of ourselves or others.
Okay, so question 145, it asks, what are the sins forbidden in the ninth commandment? So as we know, the ninth commandment is, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not lie. Okay, so the sins forbidden in the ninth commandment are forgery, concealing the truth, undue silence in just cause, holding our peace when iniquity calleth for either a reproof from ourselves or complaint to others, speaking the truth unseasonably or maliciously to a wrong end, or perverting it to a wrong meaning, or in doubtful and equivocal expressions to the prejudice of truth of justice. So Job 13:4, Psalms 119 verse 69, Luke 16 verse 5 to 7, Luke 19 verse 8 tells us of the sin of forgery. Leviticus 5:1, Deuteronomy 13:8, Acts 5:3-9, Timothy 2 Timothy 4:16 tells us of concealing the truth and undue silence in just cause. 1 Kings 1:6, Leviticus 19:17 tells us of remaining silent when it is our duty to speak. Isaiah 59:4, remaining silent when it is our duty to complain to the constituted authorities of church or state. Proverbs 29:11, speaking the truth unseasonably. 1 Samuel 22:9-10, compared with Psalms 52 verses 1-5, tells us that speaking the truth maliciously to a wrong end, to a wrong meaning, to a wrong end, Psalms 56:5, John 2:19, compared with Matthew 26:60-61, perverting the truth to a wrong meaning. Genesis 3:5, Genesis 26:7, Genesis 26:9 tells us of using doubtful or equivocal expressions to the prejudice of truth or justice. So what is the meaning of forgery? In the Bible, the Catechism, this word has a somewhat broader meaning than in our common usage today. It refers not only for falsifying written documents, but to any use of falsehood in legal charges, contracts, etc. Why is concealing the truth a sin? Concealing the truth is really the same thing as telling a lie. It is done with the intention of deceiving a person and therefore acting of a lie. Is concealing the truth always a sin? No. Sometimes it may be our duty to conceal a matter from those who have no right to know it. Concealing the truth is sin when we conceal a matter from those who have a right to know it. For example, to keep vital military information from falling into the hands of the enemies of our country is not wrong. Rather, it is our duty. So what is meant by undue silence in a just cause? This means remaining silent for private or selfish reasons, fear of reproach, when it is our duty to speak in the interest of truth and injustice. For example, it may be our duty to testify as a witness to a lawsuit or a court trial. By our refusal or reluctance to do so, justice may be perverted, the innocent suffer punishment, or the guilty escape. So why is it wrong to be unduly silent in a just cause? Because no man liveth unto himself. We have moral responsibility to God and a duty to our neighbor and to a human society. To see the truth and justice prevail, so far as it is in our power to do so, our personal feelings or convenience must not be allowed to stand in the way of the vindication of truth and justice. Do we have the right to remain silent when iniquity calls for reproof or for complaint to those who have authority to act? No. Although it is the easy thing to keep still and say nothing, this is not doing our duty to God and our neighbor. We are to bear witness against wrongdoing as occasions may require, even though it is difficult. So what is meant by speaking the truth unseasonably, and why is it wrong to do so? Speaking the truth unseasonably means speaking the truth at the wrong time when wisdom or common sense would lead us to wait until a more suitable time. If someone is rushing to catch a train, we should not choose that a particular time to talk to him about salvation of his soul. It would be more tactful and sensible to choose a more suitable time when the person concerned would be able to give his attention to the matter. So what is meant by speaking the truth maliciously to a wrong end? This means that speaking the truth to a wrong motive or a wrong purpose, even though we say may be strictly true, it may be wrong to say it. For instance, if we speak the truth with the intention of injuring some person's reputation or stirring up someone to become angry with someone else, such speaking of truth is wrong. Why is it wrong to pervert the truth to a wrong meaning or in doubtful and equivocal expression, etc.? These are wrong because all of them are only ways of deceiving people. Intentionally to use expressions that can be understood in two different ways in order to deceive some other person is just as wicked as telling an outright lie. For example, the minister who was reported to have said, "I believe in the divinity of Christ," and then later explained to someone else that he believed in the divinity of Christ because he believed in the divinity of all human beings, was guilty of sin of breaking the ninth commandment. What is the essential nature of a lie? The real essential nature of a lie is the intention to deceive some person, even though what we say may be itself true, but if our intention is to deceive others, we are really liars in God's sight. Continuation of question 145. The sins forbidden in the ninth commandment are speaking untruth, lying, slandering, backbiting, detracting, table-bearing, whispering, scoffing, reviling, rash, harsh, and partial censuring, misconstructing instructions, intentions, words, and actions, flattering, vainglorious boasting, thinking or speaking too highly or too meanly of ourselves or others.
What is backbiting?
You speak badly to a person in his back. So you don't let him hear it, but you're speaking bad to a person. Not right in his face, you're telling some people, that person is like that. Yeah, it's like gossiping, but with the intention of ruining a person. That's backbiting. So Isaiah 59:13, Leviticus 19:11, Colossians 3:9 tells us that the sin of speaking untruth. Psalms 15:3, Psalms 50:20 that tells us of the sin of slander and backbiting. James 4:11, Jeremiah 38:4, the sin of detracting or unjust speaking evil of another. Leviticus 19:16, Romans 1:29-30 tells us of a tale-bearing and whispering condemned as sinful by God's word. Genesis 21:9, Galatians 4:29, 1 Corinthians 6:10 tells us of the sin of scoffing and reviling. Matthew 7:1, Acts 28:4, Genesis 38:24, Romans 2:1, the sins of rash, harsh, and partial censuring of others. Nehemiah 6:6-8, Romans 3:8, Psalm 69:10, 1 Samuel 1:13-15, 2 Samuel 10:3 tells us that it is sinful to misrepresent the intention, words, and actions of others. Psalm 12:2-3 tells us of the sin of flattery. 2 Timothy 3:2 tells us of the sin of vainglorious boasting. Luke 18:9-11, Romans 12:16, 1 Corinthians 4:6, Acts 12:22, Exodus 4:10-14 tells us it is wrong to think or speak too highly or not highly enough of ourselves or others. So why is it wrong to speak untruth or tell a lie? It is wrong to speak untruth or tell a lie because this is contrary to the character of God, who is truth. Satan is called in the Bible the father of lies, and the person who tells a lie is using Satan's method instead of doing what is pleasing to God. Besides being in an affront against God's holiness, Telling a lie breaks down the very foundation of human society. It destroys the world's currency of truth by introducing counterfeit coin of falsehood. If everyone told lies at the same time, the human society could not exist. For it would be impossible to believe anyone. It is only because of the general prevalence of truth-telling that human society can function at all. The liar is a chiseler who takes advantage of human society's general reputation for truthfulness by telling a lie for his own selfish purposes. What are slandering and backbiting? Slandering is injuring someone by maliciously uttering a false report about that person. Backbiting is an aggravated form of slandering, which consists in secretly uttering a false report about some person behind that person's back. Slandering and backbiting are sinful not only because they involve untruthfulness, but also because they are contrary to a proper love for our neighbor and concern for his good name. Backbiting. What does the Catechism mean by detracting? The common word used today is disparaging. It means speaking evil of a person in order to detract from a person's influence or good reputation. To depreciate a person. So what is meant by tale-bearing and whispering? Tale-bearing, as used in the Catechism, means much the same as the use of the word gossip today. A sinful spreading about spreading about of reports of sin and the failing of other people. Because we derive some personal satisfaction by dwelling on the faults of others. Ooh, he failed. We're so happy if some people fail. Yeah? So that is what is meant by tale-bearing and whispering. Whispering is the most contemptible form of tale-bearing or gossip. It means calculating stories or rumors about some person secretly in such a way that it is difficult and impossible to trace the rumor of the source. To the source, and correct them. In the past times, banks and businesses have been ruined by whispering campaigns conducted against them by unscrupulous persons. Is it always wrong to tell what we know about wrongdoing committed by other persons? No. It may be our duty to report wrongdoing to the proper authorities. If we know that the child is stealing or destroying property, it is our duty to inform the child's parents. In the case of serious wrongdoing of a member of the church, it may be our duty to report the matter to the officers of the church who have the authority to deal with the offender. If the law of the land has been broken, it is a matter of some importance as where a crime has been committed, it is our duty to report it to the constituted authorities of the government. Reporting a matter to a person in authority is not to be regarded as tale-bearing or whispering. In such a case, the motive involved is not gossip or a sinful delight in telling of a person's fault, but the proper desire that wrongdoing may be stopped and that justice may be performed. So what are scoffings and reviling, and why are they sinful? Scoffing, as used by the Catechism, means mocking or ridiculing persons as a way of injuring them or making them unhappy. Reviling is what is commonly called name calling. Name calling today. It means to oppose and injure persons by calling them hard, evil names, contrary to truth, justice, and love for our neighbors. When Christian people are laughed at because of their Christian faith and profession, that is scoffing. When they are called hypocrites, that is reviling. Scoffing and reviling are always wrong because they are contrary to the truth and to love for our neighbors. What does the Catechism mean by rash, harsh, and partial censuring? By censuring is meant finding fault with or passing judgment upon some other person because of the person's speech or conduct. Rash censuring means passing judgment when it is not our duty to do so. Harsh censuring means going beyond what the evidence warrants or jumping to conclusions in passing judgment on another. Partial censuring means passing judgment unfairly or showing partiality by being prejudiced in favor of or against some persons. All these forms of fault finding or passing judgment are sinful because it is contrary to the justice and to the love for one's neighbor. Why is misrepresenting the intention, words, and actions of others a violation of the ninth commandment? Because intentionally or knowingly to represent the intention, words, and actions of others is the same as telling lies about them. This is quite a common sin, but Christian people should be ashamed to be guilty of such conduct. If some person is prominent in some good cause, we have no right to accuse him of selfish ambition. If someone opposes a particular method of accomplishing some good purpose, we should not jump to conclusion that he is opposed to the good purpose in favor of corresponding evil. This principle is often sadly disregarded, and sincere Christian people are cursed of being in favor of various forms of evil because they do not agree wholly with others as to the methods which should be used by combating the evils. Why are flattering and vainglorious boasting wrong? Flattering means praising some other people too highly in order to please the person or gain favor from him. Vainglorious boasting means praising our own selves too highly, beyond what truth and justice warrant. Both of these practices are sinful because they are forms of dealing in untruth instead of defending on the strict truth for accomplishing our purpose. So why is it wrong to think or speak too highly or too meanly of ourselves or others? All such thinking and speaking is wrong because it is not according to the truth of the matter. We have a duty to others. We have a duty to ourselves also. In both cases, it is wrong to have or express an opinion that is either too high or too low. Some Christians have false humility. They are always speaking evil of themselves and representing themselves as extremely unworthy. This is wrong because it disparages the graces and gifts of God which have been given to them. In all cases, we should make it our aim to think and speak according to the real truth of the matter. So we will end here for today. this Lord's Day. Lord willing, we will continue our reading next Lord's Day. Let us all stand as I call on Kyler to close us in prayer. Let us all stand. Okay? Go.
Lord, praise you for that. Thank you for the day. About and sorry for our sins. Sorry because we tend to lie. Please forgive us. We have put of our sins. Please make us not do it again. Thank you for our topic today about not please help us from it. Thank you for all the blessings you have given us. Please help people not to get sick. And if they are sick, please heal them. And please help Keenan not to get sick now. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right.